Thanks for watching the Daily Debate Live Thursdays with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Well, tonight we'll be reading into the significance and more messages on behalf of His Excellency, the Head of State, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as he addressed the nation on Labor Day. The President also linked the labor market requirements and education. Tonight we'll be talking about sustainable development. We'll be talking more about the youth that are considered to be also the most important mechanism to complete the development and construction process in the whole country that was launched by the leadership and the government. Of course, the participation of the youth in all domains of life reflect positively on the development of any society because it enhances both the quality and the quantity of the human resources available for development. So we will be talking about the importance of education also in that dimension and how it plays a vital role in the development of the nation. Today, policymakers are prioritizing the production of skilled manpower that can really give and contribute for sustainable development. The countries that achieved sustainable development have given a high priority to science and to technology education in formulating the educational policy. We'll be also discussing how to erase digital literacy and the timing for it. The timing for it also was further elaborated in tonight's renowned guest article that has been released today, talking about erasing digital literacy. I have all the honor and pleasure of having with me Professor Dr. Ahmad Abdel Tawwab, Assistant Professor at Munufeya University and the renowned writer in more than one Egyptian newspaper. Thank you very much, Professor Ahmad, for
Well, thank you, Taghreed. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be hosted on your show. And happy Easter and happy Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem for all of us. Thank you.
Allahu Akram, Ramadan Kareem for everybody and for the GFVOs as well. Discussing Labor Day, it has been a very important occasion that laborers actually wait annually to see the President and to discuss eye to eye vis-a-vis the most important issues that are being discussed and the priorities of the nation. So many messages has been there and messages also co-relevant to education and the importance of manpower now as we prioritize the nation's priorities and agenda on the path of sustainable development.
Right, it does. As a matter of fact, as you said, Labor Day, we are talking about the rights for the labor, and we are just connecting that with education. And I guess when it comes to the market, when it comes to the labor, the most critical and the most strategic element that we have nowadays is education. Education is a weapon. Education is a way of how to be sophisticated. Education is a way of how can you face the challenges. Education is the best way to move the country forward. And as you discussed now, in my latest article that is published today, I wrote about a very specific idea. It is something related to how to eradicate the digitalized literacy, and this is very critical. And if you're just asking me, how do you see the connection between that and the labor rights, they are very close connected together. But first of all, the first concept that I handled in my article, it was something very interesting, as a matter of fact, because I just tried to conduct such a comparison between the education environment in the US and the education environment in Egypt. It's very important to hold such a comparison, to see the similarities and differences, and to see how important it is to learn from other experiences. But again, just to be honest, I have a very deep conviction that is Egyptian students are very compatible with international standards.
Yes.
And I hate to say that they are less or more than other international students. They have wonderful, distinctive capabilities, but it depends on the environment, the system, the policy, the rules that we have. And I'm very confident that Egypt, with the new generations, will move forward with such wonderful and brilliant students.
Definitely they are wonderful and brilliant students, and they are considered to be the core and the treasure
True.
that the country invests in today, taking us to invest in the youth, investing in the youth, bringing out the best
Right.
out of the youth,
Right. Right.
and making this also a sense of awareness to the
Right.
youth themselves. How
Right.
can they be quite aware of the challenges, and at
Right.
the same time, how can we bring the best out of them?
Right. Well, because you mentioned also the word the challenges, and we are talking about the youth and the youngsters. Do we have challenges? Yes. Are we able to deal with such challenges? Yes. Do you think that people will be able to deal with the international, global challenges? Yes, we can. And Egypt is just starting its right path towards such targets. In my article, I wrote something related to education, the quality of education. And this is quite a bit intriguing as well, because when I came back from the US, what I found here is that people are working on something which is called paperwork of quality. But that doesn't work nowadays. I mean, we are talking today about digitalization. We are talking about how to transform the society. We will talk in details about that. We are talking about how everything could be digitalized, because this is for the sake of our community, and we are still working on paperwork when it comes to the quality of education.
Yes, what is important is application, and as we can see
Right.
here in the footage with us, that how the youth today are engaged in the labor market, be it in the field of industry, in the field of technological development or more. So we need that in the core. How can we encourage the youth to abide by the latest technological mechanisms in that respect?
I think that you said very interesting word now. It's awareness. It's more about trainings. It's more about how to expose the youth to different technological ways. And then there is something very interesting as well to talk about, which is digitalized quality. Now we are just moving from the paperwork to the digitalized work. How significant it is? It's quite a bit significant. Digitalized quality of education, digitalized quality of life means we are just activating technology in every single aspect in our lifetime. And it means in this way that even our syllabi will be utterly and entirely changing. So instead of taking traditional majors, traditional subjects, we can talk about something untraditional. For example, what we have today is something which is called the digitalized and electronic intellectual rights. That we didn't have that before. We are talking today about electronic crimes. We did not have before.
Yes.
Something like that. We are talking about electronic devices and electronic rights for every citizen. We did not have this culture before. It means if we would like to talk about improving the education level and improving the quality of education, we should focus on what our officials are working on today, which is digitalization.
Yes.
That's the core point.
Yes. Incentives for entering into this revolutionary world of digitalized quality.
Right.
What sort of incentives? I mean, we were talking about application rather than paperwork.
Right, right. So I guess that, first of all, we should have very specific and very determined steps if we would like to move forward regarding this issue. The first incentive here that we should have a very specialized and sophisticated training programs. When I just say training programs, I mean by that a training program for all professors, for all the faculty members, for all the staff members, for everyone who is involved in education. We wouldn't be able to move forward and to educate our generation if we are not sophisticated in technology.
Yes.
And that happens by having a training program. That's the first one. And the second one is to increase the level of awareness for all people. We would like to get them be exposed to have what it is called first-hand experience with international applicants. Tariq, what we have today is we have a globalized community and we have a very competitive market. If we could not face something which is called digitalized illiteracy, we wouldn't be able to cope with international standards.
Yes, very important is also coping with what is happening throughout the world and learning lessons and learning from the experiences of others.
True.
This sense of exposure is very important, and we always tell the youth that you have to be aware of what is happening around the world, to learn from others' experiences, experiences. What is also important is listening to the youth, and
Yes.
perhaps the youth forums that has been there
Absolutely.
under the leadership of His Excellency the President, and with his attendance, has been a brilliant idea to bring the youth in Egypt together, and also the youth from around the world.
That's true.
In a communication and a dialogue which mainly aims at fostering those relations and bringing out the best out of them.
That's very true. I think that in this way you are hitting the nail on the head. So by having such exposed experience with different international applicants and educationalist figures, it's going to be very remarkable for our country. Let me just add something here, because we are talking about literacy. Literacy today is not about reading and writing. We were talking about that a few years ago, reading and writing skills. That does not work today, because today we are talking about something that could be very significant, which means that if we would like to eradicate the digitalized literacy, which is I wrote about today, it's more about, instead of being technological users, we would like to be producer of such technology. And how can we be a producer for such technology? By being creative, by being innovative, but at the same time be very competitive to the international standards.
Yes, yes, we'll be back also to innovation, but here as we speak, those are photos and video that where Egypt marked Labor Day, and a very important day actually, where the workers meet with the president. They are honored by His Excellency President Abdel Sharaf is keen annually to honor workers who have excelled in the different domains. It's very important also this matter of appreciation, because really when a person feels appreciated, you can get the best out of him. And also making use of the experience of those calibers that we see. The youth are, and their presence are very important. Training them is very important, but at the same time, definitely we recognize the experience of the seniors.
That's very true. And you said just now, you said also another interesting part here. It is, how do you feel appreciation? If you are working in a place and you don't see and you don't feel such appreciation, then you wouldn't be able to achieve what you have in your mind. And I have a lot of experience since I came back to Egypt, and I'm just trying, because some students told me that you are our role model. If you are a role model, then the first thing you've got to make with them is just to show to all of them that sense of appreciation.
A good example.
That's very true. And I pushed all of them to be involved in different projects. Yes, they faced some challenges, they faced obstacles, they faced the troubles, but at the end,
good, because when they are going to be working together, they can overcome those obstacles.
So what's happening here is I'm trying to train them to have the culture of the teamwork. That's number one. And number two, to have a direct contact with the professor. And number three, to get that sense of appreciation. If we have the three elements together, you're going to have something brilliant. Yes, they face the troubles. Yes, they face obstacles. Yes, they can face challenges, but it depends on the leader who is just pushing them behind. That's what's happening also on another level between labor and the president at the same time. That sense of appreciation should be required, should be available in order to get the job done.
Yes, definitely very important, as we can see the smile on the faces as they are going. They are being honored by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This memory is going always to be there, and they are going to tell their grandsons and show them those pictures and those photos with pride. Yes, very important to feel appreciated. And you talk, Professor, about the role of the teacher, which is also very important. And this brings us to another point, which is training the coaches or the professors themselves.
Well, you know, the challenge that we have today is that, Tagreed, we have today a very special generation. It's quite different from other previous generations. Today we have a generation that can make friendship online. Today we have a generation that can sell and buy everything electronically. Today we have a generation who probably could get married and divorce online. So we have another different version of generation today. The problem is, how would we be able to deal with such new style of generations that we have today? And there is something also extremely important regarding education as we are talking about education. And I want to give a salute to the Minister of Higher Education because he issued a decree a few days ago to inaugurate the first of its kind College of Artificial Intelligence.
Yes.
It is something related to digitalization again. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence, but such a college, the first of its kind to be inaugurated at Munofia University. It's in the middle of Delta area.
Yes.
People today sometimes ask themselves a question, what does it mean to say artificial intelligence?
Yes.
And why do we have that? But believe it or not, if we just have a close look at the importance of such artificial intelligence, then we will see that this is closely connected with the economic level, with the economic growth, with the investment. So today, everything will be based on technology again and digitalization.
And scientific basis.
Everything. And I can see and I can confidently claim that our country is just determined to transfer everything digitalized. This is for the sake for the people. This is also for the interest of every citizen. So instead of going and wasting time and efforts to finish all the papers, there is no need to do that.
Yes.
Nowadays, you can just make that electronically.
And make definitely this is going to make our life smoother.
Absolutely.
Move smoothly.
Absolutely. So you save time, you save efforts, you make your life easier, you make everything to the point, and at the same time that will be positively reflected on your lifestyle.
Definitely. Back to the point of having a college of artificial intelligence, and if I were in their booth, I would ask, in what way is it going to facilitate my life?
That's extremely important question, because today this is the question, well, first of all, this is a very new term nowadays. People today ask themselves, what does it mean to say artificial intelligence? But believe it or not, if we are talking about digitalizing the society, then this will be reflected on different dimensions. Well, first of all, we should have very specific skills, like, for example, critical thinking skills.
Yes.
That will be reflected on the people working in the field of artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence, problem-solving skills, every single aspect related to that. But let me just give you different examples, and wonderful examples. So if we are just activating and employing artificial intelligence, we wouldn't see drivers for our trains, for our cars, for our planes. They're going to go without drivers. That will happen by artificial intelligence.
Like
everything
robotic,
will be
as
electronic. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That makes the life easier. And that's happening today for some specific cars. You can just drive your car without holding the wheel. So that's one option. On the medical level, on the personal level, you can have smarter devices that can observe and control the quality level of your work, of your life. And that's happening today with my cell phone. So if I want to go to any place, I found Google Maps helping me and asking me to evaluate the place. This is part of artificial intelligence. And regarding the medical level, this is an extremely important point. Because when it comes to artificial intelligence here, what's happening is that they can activate and they can change the system of the cells in our bodies. They can also work on the genomes and the chromosomes as well. We can predict and protect ourselves of different diseases, of different infections, so to make your life safe and healthy. So this is reflected on our lifestyle by artificial intelligence.
Definitely, and very important when we're talking quality education, we're talking artificial intelligence, we're talking about, this is the culture of tomorrow. Actually, and this is where we are proceeding, and it's very important for the country to keep pace with the latest technological mechanisms in order to move forward. And what is quite interesting also is to engage the youth, because sustainability requires engagement.
And believe it or not, I met some students who are still working and still studying for during their undergrad studies, and at the same time they are working at homes. And when I was just asking them a simple question, how do you work while studying? They told me a very interesting, it was a bombshell for me. They told me, Professor, we are working at homes online. So And I have my younger brother who is nowadays opening a new business, and it's profitable at the same time. He's gaining a lot of profits, and that's happening by using the online systems.
Yes.
There are expectations and there are very accurate statistics that is by 2030, about 2 to 3 trillion people around the globe, they wouldn't go to their work. They will work at home by using online systems.
Yes.
And so if we just consider that, we will be able to see how important it is for what's Egypt doing nowadays. Egypt already put a plan. It's called Egypt's Vision for 2030.
Yes.
One of the strategic elements for such a vision is to digitalize the society, and that's why it's important. People today may not be aware about that, but this is important. They will realize after a while how important it is.
Yes, very important speech by His Excellency, the President addressing the nation on Labor Day at a very important celebration where His Excellency had honored the workers who excelled, those who are actually looking at their march today with pride. A big salute to Egypt's workers. They are the core of the developmental process. Let's watch.
إن المرحلة القادمة من مسيرة العمل الوطني تفرض علينا وضع الإنسان المصري في مقدمة أولويات الدولة من خلال إطلاق استراتيجية شاملة لإصلاح وتطوير منظومة التعليم تتوازى مع البدء في تطبيق منظومة التأمين الصحي المتكامل.
الفترة دي هي بصراحة خطوة كويسة جدا.
كلام ولا في الأحلام.
الناس مش مصدقة نفسها.
تضافركم معانا هينجح سواء كان في التعليم أو في الصحة، والكلام ده للمفكرين والمثقفين والإعلاميين بالإضافة للمجتمع.
أي حد عنده قوائم انتظار يتصل بالرقم الساخن وربنا هيكرمه إن شاء الله.
اطلب لك قوائم الانتظار مع حضرتك.
لن ينجح أي نظام في الدولة المصرية، تأمين صحي، تعليم، استثمار، تنمية، إلا بالاستقرار والأمن.
صراحة حاسس بالشعب،
لا في تغيير في البلد.
مس قلوب المصريين كلهم.
ادوا دفعة للنجاح وشجعوا وحطوا ايديكم معانا في ان احنا المنظومة تنجح. انا لو تخيرني بين ان انا اكل ولا اعالج دول، لا اعالج دول. كل سنة وانتم طيبين جميعا، وكل التحية وكل الاحترام وكل المحبة ليكم جميعا.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed the nations on the occasion of Labor Day in a celebration held at Ras al-Tin Presidential Palace in Alexandria, organized by the General Federation of Egyptian Trade Unions. In his speech, President el-Sisi said that the keenness of the state to celebrate the Labor Day annually reflects its respect and deep appreciation for their contribution in all sides of production and confirms their major role in pushing up the process of development to contribute to the progress of this great nation. President el-Sisi said that work is a very great value and that all major countries have not only been built through leadership or through a system, but also through its citizens, both men and women. He added that Egypt was built by the hands of its sons. The president added that the fruits of the economic reform program have not been reaped so far, underlining the necessity of hard work, stressing that the competition will never stop and that all countries in the world are competing with each other for achieving their own people's welfare. Referring to the ongoing economic reform program adopted by the government, the head of state said that there have already been some good indicators reflected in the increased economic growth rate, increased wages for workers in the state apparatus, and pension hikes. He noted that all achievements of the past few years were made thanks to the awareness and endurance of the Egyptian people, adding that challenges are still there and require more awareness to overcome them. The president said what has been accomplished by the Egyptians is one step of 1,000 steps to follow, highlighting the necessity of hard work and construction, expressing appreciation for the sacrifices people have had to bear. The president added that the Egyptian people have handled the burden of the economic reforms in a way that has helped maintain stability and security. El-Sisi also spoke about the importance of the public sector and stressed that it needs reforms to fix its mismanagement. President El-Sisi also said that Egypt has the opportunity to increase local manufacturing and reduce the reliance on foreign products. Speaking about the current policies to invest in infrastructure in Egypt, El-Sisi said that these are not a luxury, but are rather a necessity to attract investments. El-Sisi also spoke about education reform, stressing that families should understand the importance of technical education. The president awarded 10 prominent veteran labor figures orders of labor of the first class. El-Sisi also granted orders of excellence of the first and second classes to labor officials in appreciation of their efforts in preserving labor rights.
دي تجربة مميزة، احنا سعداء بافتتاح المدارس دي، اتعملت في زمن قياسي الحقيقة لخدمة حضرتك عارف سوق التعليم المصري بيخدم أعداد كبيرة جدا، حوالي 22 مليون من ولادنا ليهم احتياجات مختلفة، وأولياء الأمور ليهم تطلعات مختلفة في مستقبل ولادهم، فبنحاول نعطي فرص لكل هذه الأذواق وكل هذه الاحتياجات. مدارس هي شراكة بين الدولة ممثلة في وزارة التربية والتعليم وبين رابطة المدارس الخاصة والدولية، هم بيحاولوا يعملوا عمل مجتمعي يساهموا بخبراتهم في الإدارة، بخبراتهم في الاختيار وتدريب المعلمين وتنظيم مدارس عالية الجودة، وحققنا الشراكة دي طلعت منتج بجودة عالمية بأسعار نعتقد إنها مناسبة جدا لما يعني بياخدوه الولاد في المدارس.
Very important to graduate the youth who are capable of being prepared to the labor market and who are able to cover the work requirements. Preparing those youth is very important.
Right. I think if we are talking about preparation, our youth, preparation, our students, I think that Egypt does have a long-term objectives here. And I think that the most critical point here is to build up the Egyptian character.
Yes.
Today, and I think I mentioned that before, that today we are witnessing tsunami of information. We have a huge amount of information, but at the same time, Egypt is just making something that is very innovative. And I do salute the Minister of Education for doing something like this. It is distributing the tablets for all the students at schools, and at the same time to have another wonderful, wonderful invention. It's called Bank of Information.
Yes.
Or Bank of Knowledge. So Bank of Knowledge is helping everyone who is interested to read, to know more, to get a lot of knowledge. It's helping. It's truly helping. So by having all of these elements and all of these factors combined together, we are just helping the students and helping the youth to compete with the international experiences. And I think that is, I told you that I'm very confident And if we just have different role models in our society, in science we have someone like Dr. Zuhail, we have Dr. Mustafa Musharraf. In the literature we have our famous and renowned writer Naguib Mahfouz. I mean, we have a lot of role models. Egypt also does have Nobel prizes for different international figures. I mean, we have something which is very enriching in our country, which is called the human capital. The human capital, I guess, in my humble opinion, this is the most critical weapon that Egypt does have nowadays in such a globalized world.
Yes, very important. And talking also about the sense of competitiveness. Competitiveness is very important because when you compete, you can bring the best out of the students. At the same time, competitiveness among the world-renowned universities.
That's true.
And the ranking.
That's very true. We are talking about the international rankings for our universities. We do want to take our eyes off the ball. I mean, I do want to exaggerate the whole situation and say we are taking top positions. No, we are not. But we are trying to be realistic, pragmatic, looking to our real life and trying to understand what's going on. And I think that for other countries, and regarding the digitalization, because we are talking about preparing the youth, we have different international experiences. We have another country, I heard about Rwanda, just coming up very fast, and they are making a wonderful economic progress. Then if we just have a deep look at other countries in the world, look at what's happening, for example, in South Korea. In Singapore, Singapore 40 years ago, they were just trying to grapple with the challenges. Nowadays, because they put a plan for this, and in Japan at the same time, and in South Korea, they are investing in the human capital, and at the end, they got everything positive for their economic level at the end.
Yes. Eradicating digital literacy once again and back, because this is also a core of our discussion tonight. What does it take, in your opinion?
Well, it takes a lot of points. Number one, it takes to change the mindset of the people. This is number one. Number two, it takes other efforts to increase the awareness of the people. As I said before, we don't want just to use technology for the purpose of technology, but we would like to be producers of such technology. And I guess that Egyptian youth are being able to do that. In another way, for example, we are just using technology to serve our educational purpose. In this way, you are just using technology in the positive way. It's not about the social networking, and it's not. Remember that when I got a position to teach in the U.S., I got this by using online systems. I started to contact different American universities by having different emails and starting to send emails. So it is more about how to, if we are talking about eradicating digitalized literacy. And I'm very confident that some people will come up and say, come on, Professor Ahmed, we are suffering from literacy or literacy in our society. Yes, there are a lot of challenges, but at the same time, we have to have
there are lots of opportunities.
That's very true. I mean, we would like, I understand that we cannot have it both ways, but at the end, we would like to work on both tracks, because this is the most critical part. We would like to get people aware about how to make their banking transactions by using electronic systems. Step by step, they will be aware about what's going on, and they will be adaptable to use it.
Yes, we were talking also about the sense of awareness, which is very important, of the different challenges, and awareness also of how to open new horizons and new opportunities. Talking about vocational training is also a very important point of power and strength if we're talking education.
Right, very, very true. I think when it comes to the technical education, this is, I think, the most critical part in education. But I think we need, again, to change the mindset of the people. We would like to remove everything related to colleges of the top, kulliyat al-qimma, and colleges of the bottom. That doesn't happen in other countries. So it's not about if you get highest score. What we have here is Egyptian students, they join the medical college. No, we would like to change the mindset for the people in this way, because I think that Egyptian market, they need, people today, they need skillful, as we have heard in the report. We need skilled labor, and that will happen by vocational training.
Yes.
I think that in some other countries, they put a lot of considerations and priorities for vocational training and vocational education. Egypt did have before something which is called an international partnership between Egypt and Germany. That was a few years ago. And I think that the Ministry of Higher Education nowadays is working on another plan to have the same program with Germany, another program with the United States. In this way, I think that Egyptians' efforts are on the right path in order to increase the awareness and make people at the same time be involved in such a vocational training.
Yes, a very important point, and maximizing the benefit of technology to serve the education targets is very important. How to engage the youth in the story and make them have incentives to move forward and also have a hope for tomorrow, investing in tomorrow. Short break, we'll be back.
هم دول شبابها، هم دول ولادها، دول بناتها، دول حياتها. مصر دي أمانة في إيديهم، مصر أقوى بيهم، مصر نور عينيهم، دول أملنا فيهم، نبني بيهم مصر أحلى بكرة بيهم. هم دول شبابها، هم دول ولادها، انك تفيد بلدك وناسك تبني خير. النجاح ترسم طريقك بالطموح وعليه تسير. النجاح مش مستحيل للغني او للفقير. هم دول شبابها، هم دول ولادها، دول بناتها، دول حياتها. مصر دي امانه في ايديهم، مصر اقوى بيهم، مصر نور عينيهم، دول املنا فيهم، نبني بيهم مصر احلى بكره بيهم.
Yes, those are the youth of the country. Those are the ones who are going to initiate this sense of development that we're talking about. So paying into consideration the taking good care of the youth potential and investing in the youth is very important.
It's extremely important, as I said before. They are the jewels of our country. And I think that they are the expected generations that will build up this country, as I said before. And I think that Egypt is considering every effort, every single aspect in order to help them. I just want to say that, yes, there are a lot of challenges when it comes to that, but at the end, we have to take a step forward. So when I was just talking about eradicating the digitalized literacy. Why do we talk about that? Because something related to investment. It's something related to economic growth. It is something related to the social and technological dimensions.
Yes.
It means that people who are working in technology, the social status will be changing. People would not go to work to their working places anymore. They can work at their homes, for example. When it comes to using the technological devices, they're going to make their life easier. and at the same time to make the job done in a perfect time, in a suitable time. And so it's all about how to upgrade and enhance our education. But there is something very important. We have also to focus on how to increase the proficiency of those who are working in education. And I mean by that, I mean professors, I mean teachers, and I think there will be very specialized programs for them. The Ministry of Higher Education today is working on how to find a very specialized program for training the Egyptian students and for training Egyptian professors. I heard just the other day, the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Khalid Abdel, they make something like partnership with some international American commissions for granting international scholarships and fellowships for Egyptian postgraduate students. This is a huge step in order to send students outside to get educated and get back again. It's the same strategy that China today is trying to do with the United States. They are sending thousands of Chinese students to be educated in the US and in Canada to get back after a while to build the country. It is the same strategy that Egypt is trying to apply nowadays.
Yes, definitely. The country is also paying special consideration and attention on spreading the culture of entrepreneurship and also encouraging startups. It's very important for the youth because this on the long run is going to give them experiences regarding opening mega projects and themselves later.
That's true, because as I said before, that we have globalized world, which means that the borders will be open and everything will be very direct and very straightforward. So there is so the culture of the past would not be working anymore. So when we talk about entrepreneurship programs, when we are talking about international programs that can help the youngsters and the youth to build their projects and to move forward to have international partnerships with some other countries at the same time. Again, this will be reflected on the concept of digitalization and education. If we have international standards here, and I think that Egypt is trying to do that, and that will not happen unless we are working on, again, the quality of education. Yes. The quality of life is the most critical part in education. And why do we say that? Because when we talk about the quality of education, we are talking about, number one, increasing the level of competitiveness. Number two, we would like also to get high level of transparency. Yes. Transparency is quite a bit critical inside educational institutions and outside in the market as well. There is one more important point here is how to discover and how to explore the talented students. Remember that we have a wonderful example outside Egypt, the famous player Mohamed Salah.
Yes.
I'm very confident that Egypt does have a lot of Mohamed Salah inside Egypt. Yes. But we would like to put a program in order to explore and find out such jewels, the talented students, in order to be reflected on the international
let us initiate a program like Search for Gem.
It's right.
Search for a gem.
Here we go.
And here we go. And definitely not only searching for the positive points and the powerful points, the points of strength, but we also would learn how to make them overcome any sort of weaknesses. And this is through the sense of awareness also of the trainer, how to bring the best out of them, how to make them self-confident, definitely, namely the youth, how to secure the youth against harmful ideologies. We'll be back.
مصر آمنة ومستقرة وسالمة ومرحب بمواطنيكم اللي هم يجوا في مصر يجوا بسلام وهيغادروا بسلام واحنا هنبذل كل جهد عشان نحميهم.
Egypt's leadership and people welcomes visitors from all corners of the world. Egypt, the cradle of civilization, land of the pharaohs. Lovely beaches, amazing mountains, wonderful views, and a crystal sea. Egypt welcomes you with a beautiful smile. The mother of the world, captures the hearts of people throughout history. Egypt's magic on Nile TV International.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the ministers of youth of the Arab states, where they reviewed the various Arab experiences regarding youth activities and ways to protect the youth intellectually from harmful ideologies. This came on the sidelines of the 42nd session of the Council of Arab Ministers of Youth and Sports and the 63rd session of the Executive Office of the Council in Cairo on April 22nd and 23rd. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said that during the meeting, President el-Sisi highlighted the importance of continuing to expand the role of youth and sports ministries in guiding youth potentials, establishing national unity, supporting morals, and developing their spirit of loyalty. Ambassador Radi added that President el-Sisi also urged working to develop the sport, social and cultural aspects of young people and raising their awareness of the challenges posed by the spread of emerging technologies. The President said that youth constitutes the largest segment of the Arab societies, making them a source of a huge positive energy if adopted well, and urged creating an ambitious and progressive plan of action to activate the Arab strategy to invest in youth energies and combat extremism. The Arab ministers commended the importance of the political leadership attaches to the youth and sports fields, especially through adopting many interactive initiatives with youth and holding national, regional and international events and conferences in this regard. During the 63rd session of the Executive Office of the Council, Egypt's Youth Minister Ashraf Subhi, who is also the head of the Executive Office of the Council, will be reviewing a report of the Youth and Sports Ministry on the activities of Cairo, capital of Arab Youth 2018. At the opening session of the Economic and Social Council Youth Forum in Washington, Subhi said that empowering youth is a top priority for President el-Sisi, as youth are the cornerstone and focus of Egypt's vision for sustainable development 2030. Subhi said that his ministry is implementing a number of initiatives and programs to ensure youth full participation in the political, social, cultural and economic fields. The Minister of Youth and Sports said that the ministry also launched a campaign titled Development and Change to bridge the skills gap in the labor market.
Technology is also very important while we are marketing tourism. Unfortunately, our time is out, Dr. Ahmed, and a final note on your behalf.
Because we were talking today about education, and I think that this is the most critical part. We have to remember the words for the American Senator William Fulbright, who said before that education is the best way to enhance the life for the people. Education, and by having exchanging programs, we will be able to recognize the rights for everyone. By education, we are moving not our country, but we are moving the whole world forward. And I guess that this is what Egypt is trying to do to move the whole society forward.
Definitely it will, and I thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ahmad Abdel Tawwab, Assistant Professor at Monofea University, for joining us and highlighting the whole story of educational quality, and also highlighting the very important event Egypt celebrating Labor Day. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. That was the Daily Debate for tonight, and I'm Taghreed Hussein, thanking you all for watching.